fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's going with the outside of both of them. Maloney!
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up top now.
Oh my God! Oh, big crash. Oh my goodness, half the field's going to get rolled.
It's very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go.
Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my God!
God, what?
To the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
Gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Racely to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit crash saved it. What a save!
Look to the outside as Tronke goes off. De Jong into second place.
I'm going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
I tried, there's contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Benner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Makashube, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Donington Park for the Ozicar Skip Barber Series, round 2 of season 3. Quite literally about to get underway in a 40-second time. Mario Vartanian has put his Skippy on the pole by just under 0.2 of a second over Mitchell McLeod, and then the rest of the field fighting for scraps, it would seem. 0.4 between McLeod in second, Beatty in third, and then Williams in fourth. There's the rest of your top 10 on your screen, but we are about to get the start. We got 20 drivers in total lining up for this one. So we are in for some great racing around the 3.1 kilometer national layout of the circuit. So we're not doing that big hairpin that is next to pit lane. As everyone grids up, the lights come on, they go out straight away, and we are underway at Donington. A good even start then for your top 3, and Kobe and Williams immediately moving over to try to cover off Sean Doyle. But through turn 1 for the first time, look at Williams trying to lurch around the outside of Paul Beatty, and he's got his car there as well. Remember Beatty last week had his issues with tyres not coming up to temp, taking the wrong tyres in his pit stop. See if he can alleviate that in race 2 as still trying to fend off Kobe Williams, which he does so now with a slide. Oh no, he's lost it, and Kobe's got nowhere to go. Straight into him. Scott Fontaine with me in the booth. How about that for a start? Although he hasn't turned his microphone on just yet. The battles resume then. Beatty with damage, Williams with damage as well, and Williams expected to be a title contender, so that could be disastrous. We know how short these seasons are. And
I'm back in with you there, Brian.
And the crowd collectively groans.
Yes, there we go. Just looking back up front, Mitch McLeod in P2. He's hunting down Mario Vitanio very heavily. I reckon Mitch is one to watch. We saw him last week, I think it was. We're at Belle Isle and he dropped the ball there, but he's got runoff here. He can make mistakes if need be and not have walls gobble him up. So will we see Mitch McLeod maybe take a victory tonight?
Well, we'll wait and see. We know he's been quick when he's turned up. He hasn't put together a full championship. He said last week, though, that he probably will this time out because he enjoys these cars. As Sean Doyle drops a couple tyres off the outside of turn 3 there, which is where Beatty spun on that first lap. Top 2 have broken away from Doyle there in 3rd. He's got Braden Martin and Nathan Verney for very close company behind him. Both of those guys picking up a couple of spots thanks to the collision in front of them earlier on. Julian Mookie back there in 6th as well. Just hanging on to these guys as we head onto the back straight, which leads into a chicane that goes right instead of left, as we normally see when you come to the full Donington Park layout.
Yeah, there we go. Fantastic little battle going on here. These Skip Barber cars are awesome for close racing. It's certainly my favourite choice whenever I jump onto a sim rig and iRacing is to get on the Skip Barber, and seeing a fantastic battle here. Just in front, Sean Doyle. Oh, runs a little bit wide.
So Martin got by up at the chicane and immediately loses it after running wide at turn 1. Wonder if he was put off by Doyle just showing his nose, trying to pressure him to the mistake that ultimately he did make. And Nathan Verney, unlucky not to get by as well. That's dragged Mookie right up to them. Remember, he was threatening. Well, now he's right there, and he's alongside Nathan Verney. If he can just keep the car with an overlap, he should be able to squeak up the inside for this 90-degree right-hander. But Verney being very aggressive on the brakes, just keeping it off the gearbox of Martin, fends him off, and Dennis Hancock as well, trying to get alongside Mookie. He does so up into the blind crest that is that corner, which is very crucial as it leads onto the straight for the 3rd time. And Verney immediately up to the back of Braden Martin again and pulling alongside to make a move up into the chicane with the preferred line. It's relatively easy. Martin backs out, but Verney goes too deep, uses the curb, and that's going to be a slowdown as well.
Yeah, see, just Sean Doyle there, he's pulling that gap. Anything sort of above 1.1 seconds between cars is really quite dangerous if you're trying to chase somebody down. So Sean Doyle could easily here break away from Nathan Verney. It is 0.6 currently, but yeah, if there's fights that continue to happen, we'll see gaps starting to form. The gap out to the leaders is 4.5 seconds. So Mitch McLeod just sitting behind Mario there, maybe just saving tyres, I don't know, or just saving fuel maybe. Yeah, I don't really know.
Only 11 laps, our opening sprint race here before we send him out for a feature race just after this. And they'll have to pit for tyres as well, as he's really close now. Is he close enough? He's definitely looking for it. He's got the overlap, and here we go for the lead of the race. Mitchell McLeod will take it away from Vartanian into the chicane. But Vartanian is able to back up his entry, and he gets a good exit. And what does he do with it? He's got to set himself up to go the long way round here. McLeod, wise to the run that he got, covers off the inside. Expect he'll probably park it on the apex as well to cover off any crossover that Vartanian might try to do, and that's exactly what he does. And so Vartanian has to slot into 2nd for now, but I would hazard a guess that the pace between these two is very, very close.
Yeah, Mitch McLeod, he's very good in this Skip Barber. As I was saying before, these Skippies are such awesome cars to drive and very popular on the iRacing official schedule. Yeah, always draws crowds of 100 odd drivers for every time there is a split that happens. Interesting to see the different setup there. Looks like Mitch struggling with rear end grip, so there's very little adjustment you can make on the Skip Barber. And it's basically, yeah, the front ride heights and the rear anti-roll bar and tyre pressures is all you can adjust on these cars. So yeah, interesting to see the car differences between the two.
It seems like McLeod is driving it deeper into the corners as well, whereas Vartanian is taking more of a smoother line, backing it up and keeping his overall momentum up through the corner. But that time round, he went too deep and almost lost the back end, quite similar to actually how he got through the chicane. He struggled through there at last time around as well. Interesting to note, may have heard from the onboard that he did lift off. He could have had the run down the back straight, but he opted not to go on with it. So he obviously feels like he's got the pace to hang in here and win this race, but just waiting for the opportune moment to arise. Meanwhile, their gap continues to extend at 6.2 seconds now over third place Sean Doyle, who's coming under a bit of pressure from Braden Martin. He wasn't that far ahead. He wasn't that close to Braden Martin when he started the lap, so he's made a mistake somewhere in the first couple of corners. It's allowed Martin and Verney to close right up. And Verney as well, and Martin's closed up in that little freeway fight.
Yeah, great battle here. Third, fourth, and fifth. These guys, they're not going to be able to catch those front two. So now it's just a fight for the last step on the podium. Got to really be sensible and play your game right with these cars. Set yourself up for that last lap pass. Often we will see those collisions happen. That's when the arms get out on that last lap.
Dennis Hancock as well, trying to fend off Matthew Mites for 6, as Mites just had to lift off coming out of turn 1 to avoid getting into the grass. And when you do grab the grass in these cars, it's very easy to spin out. You can get away with it, but when you're still putting load through the car and trying to get it turned, it will snap you around very quickly. So Mites doing a good job to keep it on the black stuff there, and very quickly closing back up towards Hancock and recouping the time he lost at that first corner.
Yeah, there we go. Great little battle here for 6th and 7th. Yeah, battles throughout the field. Another one to take a look at. Isaac Summers, Jack Patterson. They're going at it back there in 14th and 15th. However, it hasn't died off at the front. Mitch McLeod, Mario Batanian going hard at it there into turn 1. Fantastic battle here.
Going blow for blow in terms of lap times as well. A new fastest lap being set every lap by one of these drivers. Last time by Vartanian, fractionally quicker, courtesy of the extra speed he's picking up down the straights. Dipping into the 17s, the first driver to do so at all today, actually. Except for Paul Beatty and himself in practice. So Beatty was quick in practice, but qualifying didn't go his way, and he's actually retired from the race as well. So this really isn't going the way that it could have for Paul Beatty, who we know has pace after his debut last time out. McLeod had pulled the gap out to a couple of car lengths through the middle and first sector, but watch down this back straight as it just slowly constricts again, and the pressure's reapplied towards the braking zone. Vartanian closes right up, and then through the chicane, gains probably another half a car length, and with the extra speed, he gains the last half a car length on the straight, but again, he opts not to do anything with it. Happy just to sit and wait for one more lap at least.
Another fast lap there by Mario. Yeah, these cars are, as the fuel wears down, there's so little horsepower in them. You've got basically 3 choices of fuel to run, 3.2 litres. I think it's 7.4 and 11.8. Generally, for a longer race than the official iRacing schedule, you have to run that 11.8 to see you through to the finish. But yeah, certainly during practice, when you can run that, the hotter the tyres get, the more the car seems to grip up and do better, and that's when you'll see faster lap times come down. So expect to see even quicker times come by that last lap.
Unless they start battling and getting side by side, that will slow them up dramatically. But won't be any pressure from behind because that gap is now close to 10 seconds over Sean Doyle and co. Vernie actually has been dropped away by Braden Martin, and Vernie is falling into the clutches of Hancock and Matthew Mites as Martin looks for a late move into the chicane. Doyle gave him the room, but he just wasn't quite far enough up there to pull it off. Meanwhile, at the front, Vartanian's gone for it down at turn 1 on the penultimate lap of the race, but McLeod has gone for the switchback, and they're still wheel-to-wheel now as they plunge down the hill and then into the very fast kink at the bottom, sweeping to the left. McLeod around the outside. Reed claims the lead of the race.
Oh, this is it's a very close battle. Oh, can almost guarantee no Mitch very well. He will not give up that position easy. He's a very smart driver when he hasn't had a few too many VB long necks.
Some say he actually gets smarter the more he's in.
Well, you know, there becomes a point for Mitch really when he's, the alcohol helps him sim race, and then he kind of falls off the edge later on in the night. But let's see how he goes here. This is a great little battle. Still Mitch McLeod leads. Last lap of the race starting now. Can he hold it off?
Gotta say, I'm actually a little bit surprised how much of those curbs they're able to use at the final chicane. In these low to the ground, open wheel Skip Barbers, one more lap, and Vartanian again goes for it at turn 1. This time McLeod tries to hold it around the outside. And this means it's role reversal.
Yep,
he's got the run as well.
He's got the run, so can he stick it on the outside? If Mitch can hold it on the outside through this next right-hander, then he may be able to hold on to it for the left. Yep, Mitch is going to stay ahead here because it is fast left-hander, and then he's going to need to be deep on the brakes. There we go. Well done, Mitch McLeod, on that. So
too deep. He's gone wide, and Vartanian is going to be able to get back alongside him. He's just got a wing alongside McLeod to give himself the inside onto the back straight for the final time. Vartanian comes out ahead, but watch the slipstream down this back straight. McLeod will move it over, but already he's back alongside him, and they're going to go wheel to wheel into a corner that is single file only into the last chicane. On the outside, Mitchell McLeod, Vartanian on the curbs. McLeod slides, and Vartanian comes back with the momentum. Mario Vartanian is going to win race 1 at Donington as McLeod slides it out of the last corner.
I'll tell you what, McLeod will be upset about that. Anyone who watches his Twitch channel will be hearing what he has to say. But great race by the two, and Vartanian certainly putting the car in the right place there. I think Mitch had too many long necks.
Yeah, he just... Well, as I said, you can't fit two cars side by side through there at speed. And so one of them had to take the curbs.
Are quite aggressive, aren't they? So it would really slow the car down. Because
Vartanian was on the inside, he was able to take more of the first curb, and that one's all right because you're pretty much straight lining it at that point. The issue for McLeod when he went across the inside of the second curb is he's trying to accelerate while the car is bouncing over it, and that's why he suffered the consequences and Vartanian did not. And as a result, Vartanian steals it on the final lap. That is one of the best battles we've seen for the win in the Skippies across all of our seasons so far. Let's take a look then at our full final results from Donington Park. The official margin of victory was 0.2 of a second in favour of Vartanian over Mitchell McLeod. Sean Doyle home in third. In the end, 8 seconds back. Shows you how much they cost themselves on the last lap, because when they started the last lap, they were over 10 seconds ahead of him. Martin finishes in 4th, and Vernie in 5th. Dennis Hancock 6th after starting from P10. Matthew Mites claims 7th, ahead of Julian Mookie in 8th. Scott Melville and then David Summers +6 to finish in 10th.
Then we roll over the page. Philip Howe in 11th, Bent Velzen in 12th, Leon Williams 13th, Jack Patterson finishes in 14th, Isaac Summers 15th, Jeremy Bush in 16th, Cameron Cousins 17th, Ira Felberg, series organiser, in 18th, Paul Beatty in 19th, and Kobe Williams will round out the 20-car field. Fantastic race that we saw there from those front two. That was absolutely awesome. I expect to see it again.
Yeah, we get to do it again in just about 5 minutes' time. Stay with us here on Simspeed TV. We're going to go to a quick ad break, but when we come back, ready for qualifying and race number 2 from Donington.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction. He's going the outside. Both of them. Maloney.
Oh, he's taken Anderson. Anderson's up to
Oh my God. Oh, big crash. Oh my goodness. Half the field's going to get rolled.
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go.
Oh no.
That's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh my God.
God, what?
outside wall.
Gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Lee to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside, and Tronke goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
I tried, there's contact though.
Slide left to the racetrack. Chris Benner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Makashube, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Welcome back to lovely England at Donington. Who am I kidding? Welcome back to miserable England at Donington Park. I will say, though, it looks quite lovely in the virtual world right now. Skies above Donington have opened up, and there's a bit of sun beating down on the circuit, which may make things a little bit greasier for drivers out there on the racetrack, as qualifying is now underway, and we're going to set the grid for race 2, and we look to see if we're going to have a race as good as race 1, because that was truly one of the best we've seen. And Vartanian and McLeod will be looking to resume their battle. The rest of the field, Fonty, are looking to close the gap to them.
Yep, it's going to be interesting to see how they all get on in this qualifying session. The great thing about this is, yeah, each race has its own qualifying, so if you've had a bad run in the first race, then you can regain yourself in the second race. These guys do need to take a mandatory pit stop and must take 2 tyres of their choice. Most of the time they take the front tyres because they take a fair bit to come up to temperature, and yeah, the front tyres are the ones that have the least amount of effect on the car slowing down when you come in for your pit stop. So start catching a few people on their laps.
As Paul Beatty demonstrated last week, cold rear tyres, warm front tyres equals bulk oversteer on the exits and many spins to go with it. So take the fronts and just suffer through the understeer for a couple of laps until they are nicely up to temperature, and you can still power out of the corner as well as you like with those warm rears. So first times go down, and Sean Doyle goes to the top with a 19.1. Vartanian eclipses it with an 18.5. So that's the time that McLeod is chasing, and Doyle's 19.1 is the time the rest of the field is chasing, if qualifying 1 form is anything to go by.
Not a bad first lap out there by Mario, actually, 18.5. Not bad for cold tyres, so expect to see times drop rapidly on that second and third lap.
Well, I wonder if we can see a subset or a 117 here in qualifying. We didn't see it in qualifying for race 1. We saw it in practice by 2 drivers, and then in the race by Vartanian. And I think McLeod as well managed to get one in there. So we get a good gauge on whether the overall outright pace is any better in this second qualifying session, as Mitchell McLeod's going to complete his first lap, and it's
his out
invalid.
lap.
Oh, that was his out lap, sorry.
Yep, here we are.
So he's starting his session quite late.
Yes, he is. Jump on board.
You know why? You have Pro to run to the beer for some more.
Yeah, no, he would have
run to the fridge.
Needed to
some more beer, yeah.
grab another 6-pack. We'll stay on board for Mitch during this lap. Such a great circuit, this Donington track. While I'm over here in England, I certainly do plan to go and check out Donington at some stage. Looking like Mitch having a few little internet dramas there. lagging in and out. Yeah,
You,
hopefully that
you
can...
look out your window and tell me if the sun is that bright.
I will actually. Hold on. I'm just going to put the blinds up and I'm going to tell you.
Although actually it's about
Well,
6 in the morning, isn't it?
It is Mitch McLeod. He's dropped.
No, he's still there.
He's still there. He is still there. Hold on. I'm going to tell you now. I'm putting the blinds up and I'm going to tell you. Is the sun shining today in England? The answer is, yeah, it's actually not a bad day out there.
Oh, there we go. One of the 5 days of sunshine for the year over in the shady suburbs of London. Skelfontaine. Donington is a couple 100 kilometres away from there. So McLeod's first lap didn't count, probably because of these connectivity issues he's having. Bartanian, meanwhile, managed an 18-1, and he has done. His session's done. He's done all 3 laps, so an 18-1 is the best he's going to do. Sean Doyle, as well, has finished all 3 with an 18-7, and Beatty with an 18-8, so he's had a much better qualifying run here. That car looks like it's floating over the racetrack. The right front.
Mitch is that fast, it's floating.
It might actually float over the crest here. No, not quite enough speed to pick up that right front.
These guys can seriously cut those curves without it affecting getting an off track.
Yeah, I seem to remember there being a very strict slowdown on the inside there.
Yeah, well, let's see if the lap's going to be in Valley. He's just coming in to finish it over that right through the left where he had to launch himself over there to just lose the race lead. Here we go. Oh, bit of a slow lap time for that one. He's going to get a chance to do another one though. P5 currently for Mitch. Drops down to P6. Matthew Mitz taking that position from him.
Very wide out of turn 1 as well. Definitely pushing the car now, needing to find an improvement, because if he lets Bartanian get away, I do wonder if he actually has the pace to get up there and catch him and close in a gap, or whether their pace is just too similar for either of them to gain without mistakes being made by the opposing driver. If he can find 1/100th of a second, he'll claw his way back onto the 3rd row of the grid and ahead of Matthew Mites. If he can find 0.3 of a second, or 1/3 of a second, he will go up to 2nd.
Yeah, I think you'll be... This looks like a better lap there from Mitch, so I reckon he'll be in with a good chance on this one, as long as his internet continues to hold out.
Here we go, into the chicane. Keeping it off the curbs on the inside for the first apex. Absolutely using those second curbs to his advantage. As he crosses the line in 18-4, he goes to 2nd place. The battle is on for race 2.
There we go. So, he's got Brandon Martin practicing his stop there. Oh, looks like his pit bay is right at the end, so it's going to be an awkward one to get into. Got Kobe Williams out there still doing laps. He's sitting in P8. Finished last in the last race. Not too sure what happened to him in that previous race, but can he redeem himself in the second? Oh, it's a bit of a moment there.
Look, Kobe, that's not the way around the track.
No, we've got Nathan Verney practicing his pit stop. Mitch McLeod, is he going to practice his pit stop? Because most likely that'll be where he makes his mistake. So, looking like everyone is done here for qualifying. We hang about until the race time clicks over. Absolutely love this.
But let's take a look at your starting grid then. For race 2, it will be Mario Vartanian on the pole with an 18-1-7, so we didn't get into the 17s. McLeod 2nd, Paul Beatty 3rd, Sean Doyle in 4th. Raider Martin and Dennis Hancock start on row 3 ahead of Matthew Mites and Kobe Williams. Scott Melville and Ira Felberg will round out your top 10.
Yeah, good run there from Ira Felberg to be in 10th. 11th, Nathan Burney, Philip Howe will be off the 12th position. Julian Mookie 13th, Leon Williams 14th. Jeremy Bush and Vic Bentvelsen will be on row number 8. Isaac Summers and David Summers will be on row number 9. And Cameron Cousins, Jack Patterson on row number 10. Just clocking over to the race server now. So drivers will start to take the grid as we are seeing.
Place your bets.
Place your bets.
Vartanian, McLeod, or the field? Who wins race 2 at Donington?
Well, it's all just
up in the mix as well.
Yeah, it's all going to depend on, these front two. They got a gap early in that last race now, and that's generally what happens in these cars. If you get a breakaway by the first 2 or 3 cars, there's no chance anyone else catching them. So these guys further back, they need to work together on that first lap to be able to stick with them and make it a 4 or 5 car train battle. I reckon
50 seconds till we
this
go.
one. If he's smart on his pit stop, does it right, doesn't make a mistake, I reckon Mitch will potentially take this out. My money's going on him.
Well, you might have just stolen the win away from him with that very sentence.
I might have.
As we wait for the last of our drivers. No race control drivers in. We're watching as spectators this time, so they're not having effect on gridding. And that means we can get underway a little bit earlier. Lights out, and we are racing for the second time, and Mitchell McLeod does not get a good start. Paul Beatty, though, by moving over, I reckon, pretty much ruined his own opportunity at getting by McLeod. As into turn 1. Vartanian leads comfortably. McLeod, Beatty, Martin, and then Sean Doyle has Dennis Hancock alongside him, and Kobe Williams is getting a bit boxed in now as we head down the hill into the kink, and they're almost 3 wide. That's Kobe almost driving it into the grass, then slipping his way through the left. As around to the background goes Scott Melville. And David Summers as well found his way to the grass and all of that. The rest of the field continues unscathed as McLeod has got to the back of Vartanian straight away. Williams is looking at the back of Doyle. A very good start for Kobe, already +2. And not a good start for Doyle. He's dropped a spot to Braden Martin.
There we go. So, reasonably clean first lap there, apart from Scott Melville putting it off there, Jack Patterson.
Does anyone come to the pits here on lap 1? Mitchell McLeod does. So he pulls the trigger away straight away. Paul Beatty also comes to the lane, followed by Sean Doyle and Dennis Hancock. And, well, half the field.
Yeah, probably not a bad move there, actually. Get those tyres changed now, and then you can... How long we got? 18 laps. So he's going to run those tyres. They get hotter and hotter and faster, so good move there by Mitch, I reckon.
And doesn't look like he's had any issues in his stop either. Beatty remains ahead of Hancock and remains ahead of Doyle. So no changes in pit lane for those drivers as the rest of the field continues on. And will we see them all respond on this next lap? And will anyone go for the big overcut like we saw last week as Williams just snuck up the inside of Braden Martin to take away what is currently P2, but I think probably works out to be maybe P4 overall. Isaac Summers back there in 8th at the moment as well. Still got Patterson, Melville, Cousins behind him, and then McLeod, the first of the drivers to pit, as Kobe immediately responds to the pit stops, and he's the only driver to do so.
Here we go, gap.
No, sorry, Vartanian also pitted.
There we go, so this going to be the advantage that Mitch needed? Where's
Oh, he's
Vartanian
gonna
going
get
to
him.
come out? He's got him, I think.
Come on, Fonte, show us. Show us McLeod and Mario. Because that ain't them. Vartanian's just held on. He rejoined around the outside of turn 1 and managed to keep the car there. But now he's got the cold tyres, so he's going to struggle to get the car turned into these corners while they come up to temperature.
Oh, there we go.
It's
Oh,
all
that could
right
have been
in
a big
front
effect
of
there.
them. That was Scott Merville. I'd actually eyed off those tyre tracks and was about to say someone's been off there. And, well, we just found the culprit really quickly.
Yes, there we go. That could have been game-changing for these two. They reacted very well. So Mitch is in a good position here, although he's not in the front. He's just sitting behind Mario and can use that draft and, well, maybe do what Mario did to Mitch in the last race. Got another person in the pits. Nathan Burney is doing his stop.
So those tyres should be operating pretty comfortably now for Mario. So they're back to an even playing field for the effective race lead. Still waiting on 7 more drivers to make their stops. Sorry, 6 drivers. Jack Patterson, Leon Williams, Isaac Summers, Vic Bent-Velsen, Matthew Mites, and Braden Martin. And the highest placed of those drivers as well should come out around P3 or P4. And Jack Patterson here may find himself in a awkward position as Vartanian's going to close right up to him at the top of the hill here. Might just compromise his exit onto the straight a little bit, but he's got enough of a buffer over McLeod at the moment that he's not going to get burnt too much, and Patterson moves it over and respects what is the effective race lead battle. He didn't have to do that. No black flags were shown as Vartanian bowls it wide, and that's given the little free kick that McLeod needed to him, because he was a few car lengths back, but, well, now he's alongside him into turn 1. Tough to go around the outside here, but we saw earlier if you can do it and keep the car there, you've got the inside at the bottom of the hill. But McLeod is in the grass. Eyes on the road, please, McLeod.
Just cracked another can. He had to concentrate on that for a minute, mate. Looking a little bit further back, though, this battle here. Nathan Burney, Dennis Hancock. These guys going hard at it.
Sean Doyle at the head of this group, and Verney pressuring Hancock. This is the battle for about P5. Doyle started 4th, Hancock 6th, and Verney 11th. So Verney's in a pretty good spot. Once it all shakes out, to have gained quite a few spots, as looks like Vic Bent-Velsen is going to come to pit road. And then there were just 5 waiting to make their pit stop. As, oh no, Mario spun it off the last corner.
Oh, that's heartbreak for Mario there. We're going to have to go back and catch that on a replay and see what's happened.
Car's broken as well.
Car's big time broken. We'll go back a bit further. We're getting on board of this one.
Left rear is broken on that car, from what I can see.
Yeah,
so,
I think it got collected, actually. He did
by
get
McLeod.
By McLeod, but he was already half spun. So does McLeod have damage? And is this going to affect McLeod? Let's look at the front of his car.
There's no way he's got away with that.
Oh, it's got no damage by the looks of it. But it's got.
What on earth has he got away with that?
Yeah, he's been lucky there. Really had nowhere to go. That was a big mistake there by Mario. Just the car got the bounce and then, yeah, went around on him.
Interesting is that's the line that McLeod took in qualifying to do his lap that put him second. It shows you how committed and good that lap was, especially through that final chicane. Pull that off, and both of them have now made a mistake at that corner. For Vartanian, it's going to certainly be a lot more damaging for him than it was for McLeod. He now enjoys a healthy provisional lead in this race, is behind Sean Doyle and Scott Melville, considering going side by side down the hill, but Melville pulls out.
There we go. So the exciting race end that we thought we might see is certainly not going to be the case. It's looking like Mitch is going to walk away with this one because the closest car behind him is 4.4 seconds down the road. So it's Sean Doyle who's the closest car to him, who's made a stop.
Melville has got a slowdown there as he went by Sean Doyle. Melville copped a slowdown on the inside, and that's allowed Doyle to go back by, and Verney and Hancock.
So,
A big mistake for him, so there is still a slowdown on the inside of that corner.
yeah, to be a fine margin if you get it or not. Could just be an inch over, and then you get yourself a slowdown. But Mitch McLeod theoretically leads this race once these first three take their stops. We've got Jack Patterson. He's in the he hasn't done his stop yet, so he's at Mac and P number 6. So theoretical race lead goes Mitch McLeod, Sean Doyle, Dennis Hancock, Nathan Burney, Paul Beatty, Ira Falberg, Vic Bent Valzen.
Yeah, I'm on. There you go. I love when Discord lags out when you unmute your microphone, so it mutes and unmutes about 10 different times. As here we go, Dennis Hancock will sneak by Jack Patterson. And Nathan Verney can't go with him. And now Patterson pulls it off and makes his long-awaited pit stop on lap 9 of 18 halfway through this race. Looks like Jeremy Bush is in pit road minus his front right, so he's found the fence or another car somewhere out there that we've missed.
Halfway through the race, lap 9 of 18.
McLeod's got to keep this mistake free here as he navigates by Isaac Summers. And then he's got Matthew Mites up the road. Don't think he'll get to him. He's 14 seconds behind him. But Mites and Martin with that gap over McLeod, certainly looking at a potential podium chance.
Gaps are very spread out. Closest battle we have on track here is Nathan Burney, Dennis Hancock. These guys are fighting out for the final place on the podium.
Afford to hold themselves up too much here, because if they do, they're going to bring Martin and Mites into the picture once they've made their stop. And Mites' pace right now is much quicker than that of Braden Martin's at the front of the field. So they've got to be smart about how they go about this. Hancock and Nathan Verney. Their last lap's 18.7s. Matthew Mites an 18.2. And Martin a 19.7. So, if Mites does that again, he's really going to be in the picture very quickly. If Braden Martin's given up, he's coming to pit road after what was a disastrous previous lap. But Matthew Mites continues with an 18.5. It's 28 seconds ahead of Verney and Hancock he is, and is that enough to make the stop? Very good exit there for Nathan Verney. Much quicker coming off the exit of the last corner. Puts him on the left-hand side of Dennis Hancock, but he aborts that move and tucks in behind him. Braden Martin's rejoined up in provisional second. So he's come out ahead of Sean Doyle. They're quite a long way behind McLeod, so regardless of how good Mite's pace is, he's not going to challenge him, but Matthew Mites could come out ahead of both of these guys and be in second once he makes his stop. As Martin is able to fend off Sean Doyle there.
Yeah, you'd think that maybe, yeah, with that strategy, them going so late in this race, they're just getting those tyres, using them. Lap times are showing reasonably quick. They are, yeah, Mitch McLeod last lap by an 18.3. Braden Martin, 1:23 we're showing, so that's his in lap. Oh, Mitch McLeod's gone to the 17s. 17.961 for him, so this is creating an excellent battle behind a 4-car train. This will be where the race is, the final 2 steps of the podium.
Oh, Doyle and Verney getting very close to each other at first corner. Doyle aborts his place in the line and he goes to the back. I wonder if that's because of any contact or whether he's just decided he didn't want to go side by side. Down the hill there he's now got Nathan Verney and Dennis Hancock in front of him.
Oh, I love these 4-way battles in a Skip Barber. You really got to trust the drivers around you and work together, and then that last lap is where all the action unfolds. Everyone, it's a free-for-all, and yeah, if you're the second car back, you can be exposed to some pretty dangerous moments with the cars behind trying to move by. Here we go, we've got a run. Nathan Verney is right on the back of Dennis Hancock here. Just going to sit behind this one. Sean Doyle's just sitting back waiting for these guys to collect each other. Oh, Doyle, big moment. He's just going to lose that. That's him done. He won't be able to regain himself after that. Showing 0.7 of a second behind. It's now dropped to 1.8. So he's out of that drafting range. And he could be susceptible to Paul Beatty here.
He could be. I reckon he's got enough pace in hand that he should stay ahead of him.
If these guys battle up front, sorry about that. He may be able to catch up. After we start seeing battles, we've got what, 4 laps to go here. So those 3 cars in front swap positions and slow each other down. We could definitely see Sean Doyle on the back of them very quickly.
As Hancock lets Verney go. Wonder if he got to slow down at the last chicane there. manage to take too much of the curbs and not spin out in the process, but instead get served a slowdown penalty. So that drops him back to Doyle.
Now these two
Now
need
it's
to
just
work together.
Yeah.
The track there, look, you can see a loss of debris on the track from a lot of dirt and dust, so that certainly won't be happening. Won't be helping anyone's corner momentum speed. Here we go. Nathan Verney putting a lot of pressure. He moves into P3. Can he hold it? Yes, he has. Is he going to be able to pull it out the other side? Yes, he has. Good job there by Nathan Verney to take P3. Or P2, I should say.
And because he cleared him through the chicane, he was able to drive the car straight over the last chicane. And that meant he didn't have that issue of applying the throttle while still over the curbs. And that meant he was able to get through there very nicely.
Sean Doyle.
Tell you what, though, I reckon Matthew Mites is going to jump them all here.
Oh, Sean Doyle here. Here we go. It's into another left-hander. Is he going to be given room? Oh, he's going to take all of the curve and the outside.
That worked well.
That
Wow.
did work well. He was very aggressive on that pass there. But it's pulled off.
And a lot of
him.
grip out there.
Yeah. Yeah, well, these tyres, they really come on. As the more laps you do, the hotter the tyre temperature gets, generally these tyres just get faster and faster. And as the fuel load drops, these last laps are where the cars are unbearably fast. Look, we've already seen Mitch McLeod.
Oh no, Doyle's been turned around by Dennis Hancock.
We'll just get a little replay on that one. See what's going
Paul
on
Beatty's
here.
going to get by both of them.
On board with Sean Doyle. Oh, he's been tagged from behind. Let's go.
Yeah, by Hancock.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Matthew Mites has come out of pit lane alongside Verney, and he's being held up by the lapped car of Philip Howe and Cameron Cousins, and that means he's had to back out of it, and he slots in behind Verney and right in front of Braden Martin, and now, again, being held up by Philip Howe into the right-hander. This time he's able to get around him, but that cost him, I reckon, the chance to come out in second, because he had to back out of it through turn one.
Yeah, I think you're right, mate. These lap traffic's played part in determining the result. Still Matthew, not bad. Not bad at all from him to be the last to pit, and he's come out sitting in third. So we can definitely count Sean Doyle out of the mix now. It's on for these guys though. Brady
2 laps to
Martin
go.
on going
And yeah,
for the
here comes
outside.
Martin.
Can he pull it around the outside? He's not going to be able to do it there, but if he can get a decent run, he should be able to get it into that fast right-hander that we are about to approach. No, he's just going to tuck him behind. Probably a sensible move. You see here how dirty the track is right there. There we go. So it's sent a car off already. Maybe that's because his tyres maybe are getting a bit too hot in the front there, but
it's cost him either way. He falls back behind Philip Howe again. Still ahead of Doyle and Beatty, though.
so I did count
Once again, he
Doyle
finds
out.
himself being held up by Philip Howe.
I did count Doyle out after that spin, but he could very much be in the mix here. We are on the final lap of the race, so I don't think he's going to be able to get too far up as we're coming into the last little section, but is he going to... Oh, he's tagged somebody.
Philip Howe.
There we go. And he's going to get taken here. Dennis Hancock.
Still one more lap.
Oh, there we go. Sorry. One more lap to go. This is going to be on. Meanwhile, we look at the leader. 20 odd seconds in front. Just on his casual Sunday drive is Mitch McLeod.
Yeah. I've got to ask what Philip Howe's doing there, because he's been involved in that battle completely needlessly, I've got to say, I think. He's a lap down, unfortunately. He's actually 8 laps down, and he's forced cars wide and stacked up a few drivers, so I think maybe a bit more awareness needed in that situation, especially this late in the race, as now Doyle is able to get by Hancock and reclaim his position. As McLeod, of course, has taken out race 2 comfortably. Now, by 20 seconds, he wins the second race at Donington. Meanwhile, Verney and Martin are running side by side into the last chicane. Nathan Verney is going to take it and hold it on the final lap. So Verney will finish in second ahead of Martin in third.
There was an exciting race. Plenty of people going off. I'm really surprised about Mario. He'll be absolutely gutted with that one.
Yeah, just lost it to too much of the curb and flicks the car around. And not much he could do about it in the end. And he will finish down there in 17th position. What could have been for him, he was potentially on for a sweep of the rounds. Of the races in the round. Now let's look at our full results then at the end of race number 2. As Vartanian comes across the line there. With Bush, McLeod winning by 22 seconds. It was in the end over Nathan Verney. Braden Martin home in third. Paul Beatty fourth. Matthew Mites finishes in 5th. Doyle 6th. Hancock 7th. 8th for R.F. Elberg. Vic Bedvelton and Julian Mookie round out the top 10.
Then we go back to 11th. We have Isaac Summers, David Summers in 12th, Leon Williams 13th, Scott Melville 14th, Jack Patterson will finish in 15th, Cameron Cousins 16th. Disappointing race for Mario Vitanio in 17th, and Jeremy Bush in 18th, Philip Howe in 19th, and after an excellent start to the race, Kobe Williams is finished in 20th.
And that wraps up our second race. Let's have a chat then to some of our top performers. I'll start off with Mitchell McLeod, who gets the job done in race number 2. Whoa, I've dragged too many people up. Oh well. Mitchell McLeod, good job on the win in race 2. Didn't have to fight quite as hard as you did the first one, though.
Nah, well, I was looking forward to that good battle in the end, but I was sort of hoping that Mario was going to go a little bit longer, but he seen that I was trying to do the undercut and go long, and did it a lap after me, and I almost had him, but I almost collected him into turn 1 as well. But then unfortunately, Mario clipped the inside curb at the last chicane, and I was just having a look at the replay there, and I shouldn't have been anywhere near making contact. My reflexes weren't too good then, but a bit of a shame there.
Did you not pick up any damage from that? It looked like you nailed him pretty much as he spun, but seems to get away with it.
Nah, I got nothing out of it. So I on my screen, I sort of just made light contact and I had a 2x from it, but I was pretty lucky there.
That battle at the end into the last corner, you had this slide on the exit, which cost you the win. Is that the one that got away, or just Mario too quick and it was a losing battle sort of thing?
Oh, no, he was pretty quick. And, I sat behind him for half the race, sort of just trying to figure out where I could get him. And, then he sat behind me for a few laps. And then we had a bit of a dice with 2 to go, I think it was. And, then he went up the inside into turn 1, or I crossed back under him. And then next lap, I thought, I'll do something different, see if I can, make him make a mistake so I don't have to fight until the last corner. But no, we went side by side for a bit, and he ended up just getting me. Pretty much the same thing as what he did in the second race. So I just clipped that inside curb and got a little bit sideways, lost the drive. So, well, it was good fun.
If there's any consolation, Brandon Martin also lost out on a spot at the final corner on the final lap in race 2 that time. He ended up in 3rd. Hey, is there anyone other than your beers that you want to thank for helping you today?
The pizza guys down at local Donny pub. They've just opened. They are in between quali and the first race. I had to duck down there and pick up a pizza for the families. So thank you to them for their good service and quick service, and I was able to get down and back.
No worries. Cheers, Mitch. Good job today.
Cheers. Thanks. See you.
That's Mitchell McLeod, who comes away as a round winner and the race 2 winner. Braden Martin's here with us as well. Braden, a P3 in race 2. You have to refresh my memory on race 1, but a pretty good round for you today.
Yeah, P4 in race 1 and P3 for race 2. So by far my best ever round for sure.
Well, there you go. Onwards and upwards in the world. So what's the difference today? Was it just a case of this track suits you well? Was there more focus going into it, or what? What made the difference for you?
Yeah, I'm not really too sure, to be honest. I haven't really done a whole heap of practice around this track, but it was in the officials last season, so that helped out a little bit. I'm just getting a lot more consistent and getting a lot better with the racecraft and just learning off these fast guys, that's for sure.
Fonty?
What was that, sorry?
Fonty, have you got any questions for...
just
Brad?
great result there. It's these cars are very difficult to drive. It's all about slipstream and drafting, setting yourself up for that final corner. But great result there. At the end, just slightly pipped at the post for P2, but good drive overall, mate.
Yeah, cheers. And shout out to Nathan for some really good racing at the end there. It was really good fun.
Always good to see some good, hard, clean racing. So looking forward, you looking to maybe one-up yourself and grab 2 podiums next time out?
Yeah, I mean, if I can, absolutely. I guess the focus of the season is my goal this last season was to make a top 10, and I managed to squeeze that in. So the goal this season was to try and get in a top 5 somehow. So that'll be the goal for the rest of the year or season.
All right, well, we'll see how it pans out, and we look forward to hopefully chatting to you again. Who do you want to thank for helping you get it done today?
Yeah, just a shout out to Ira for running such a good league as always, and shout out to Julian, my teammate, for providing the awesome, beautiful paints that we get to run around these tracks in, and also shout out to the mighty Port Adelaide, heading into a final series.
Oh, sod off. just because your team made the finals and mine almost got the wooden spoon. Good job, Braden. We'll talk to you again next week, hopefully.
No, boys. Take care.
And we've also got Nathan Verney joining us, P2 in race 2 after a P5 in race 1. A good day out at the racetrack.
Yeah, I didn't do my usual first lap spin, so pleased with that.
Yeah, someone did, but it wasn't you for once. So that helped you out nicely. You missed out on 4th in race 1 by 0.04 of a second to Braden Martin. And then you pipped Martin for 2nd in race 2 by 0.2 of a second. What is it with you two out there today?
Yeah, I think we were pretty hungry for a podium, and so trying not to butcher the last lap, allowing people behind to catch up. So I saw him do it the first one, and I was guilty of going a bit slower in the second one, and probably a bit too much.
You wouldn't draw the Donington racetrack, the national layout, as opposed to the Grand Prix one, the laps coming at you a bit thicker and faster and no awkward hairpin to navigate?
Yeah, that seems like a very strange addition to the track, the other layout, so I'm glad we did this one.
I think it definitely suits these cars a bit better as well, keeps those speeds up. So you pick up a 5th and a 2nd today. In terms of championship, I don't know if your aspirations are set on the full championship win, but you should be able to sneak up maybe a top 3 or definitely a solid top 5. What are you looking for there?
Yeah, I just wanting to be consistent with this. I really enjoy racing these cars, and it's I'm not really thinking that a championship or even top 3s on the cars with some of the quick guys have got, but I'm glad at this point of the season that I'm climbing up a bit.
Hey, well, there's always next week as well to improve that spot. Another couple of positions. Who do you want to thank, Phil, when you get it done today?
Yeah, I thank my partner Claire for her support and putting up with me, showing her the broadcast and some of the great commentary you guys do. So thanks you guys as well. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much, Nathan. Good job today.
Thank you.
And I think with that, Fonty, it brings us to the end of our show for today here at Donington Park. A good day out. It was another good addition to the Skippies.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Great circuit to race at today at Donington. Skip Barber's always turn on great racing, so fantastic battles. And yeah, Mitch McLeod came away with the win there in that race, which he'll be absolutely stoked about. But yeah, good turnout today and great racing, and look forward to the next round.
Which you can catch at the same time, 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time next Thursday night. Make sure you like Simspeed Sports Network as well on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our latest broadcasts. And chuck a like to Ozicar on Facebook as well to stay up to date with everything they are doing. But for tonight, from myself, Ryan Jones, and Scott Fontaine alongside me, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
This is fantastic. This is GT Racing right now.
He's got traction, he's going with the outside, both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up to
Oh my god! Oh, big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Six very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go. Oh no, that's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh my god.
God, what?